Can you believe it's week 6 already?
Can you believe it's conference next week?
I know. I know. Um, okay, let's do some quick wins. Dave McCall, let's start with you.
I've had a bit of a quiet week because I've had to. I've had to catch up and get stuff done. As I was joining, I'm just in the middle of quoting for a couple of Grand Prix next year, so that was through reaching out and all this sort of thing. Yeah, that's it really. I've not been too terribly active because I haven't had time.
Okay, good. Amma,
Yeah, so I've been busy finishing a project. So we had to launch it. So my whole week actually spent on making sure that it goes smoothly. And that was the reason I couldn't join the last time because that wasn't expected. So I had to finish it because it was very important for them. So unfortunately, I missed that, but I've watched the recording, so it's great. So it worked for me. At least I didn't miss that.
good.
So
Good.
yeah, spend the weeks went with that thing.
Okay, thank you
Yeah,
very much.
apart from that, in regards to networking, has been very quiet because it took most of my time, and yeah, so
So this is the ones that one of the things that I see a lot. So I've met a lot of people that go networking. They come when they need clients, they disappear when they're busy. And
yeah.
then
So
what
that, sorry, please.
and then what happens in their business is sales go up and the sales go down, and then they have to go networking again, and then they go up again, and then they go down again, and you get this roller coaster effect. Um, if we had a shop, we wouldn't only open the shop on certain days, we open it 5, 6, 7 days a week. If we had an Amazon store, we wouldn't turn it off when we were busy. And yet with networking, people stop going because they get busy with client work. So my advice is somehow always make time for networking. Like for me, it's in my diary. It just repeats. If you look at my diary, even though I might not be booked on to specific events, if you look through my diary, there are certain bits that just repeat at certain times of day in red. They're there to stop anybody booking a meeting with me so that I can always make time for networking.
You are absolutely right. Actually, I had a bad experience about 1 year ago. So I actually did the same thing to free myself from my business. So I have more time in working for my business, not in my business. So it didn't go as I planned. So I've been struggling with this thing since I'm one person only. So, but at this time, I've been trying to be careful working with the right peoples
Yeah.
because I do big promises with my clients, and if I'm not collaborating with the right peoples, so I can't deliver the promise that I've done. So I've been very careful, so that's why I'm just doing everything alone. But yeah, they're absolutely right. We need to have time to work for our business, which is networking and outreaching.
Yeah. None of us ever start a business to think, I need to build a team.
Yeah.
All we want is clients. And then we get busy with clients, and then we get too busy for all the activity. And that's what I said right at the start of this. This is about 6 weeks of building the habits so that you continue it afterwards. Because it's really easy when this finishes and you lose some of the accountability elements for all of you. And you'll see week 1, there's a lot of people turn up for this call. Here we are, week 6, and there's 7 of us. Now, don't tell me that everybody doesn't need new clients, because no matter how busy you are today, you'll finish working with some clients and then you'll need new ones tomorrow. So you gotta build a team, start outsourcing some stuff, and it frees you up to focus on the lead generation and the sales activity. Okay, thanks, Emma. Helen, let's come to you.
Hey, sunny Cumbria. Yay, sun shining. Sorry, I was a bit to the loo before. It's a bit late. So wins. Oh, great win. So I was somebody from Circles did a quick WhatsApp and said possibility of one of my team struggling. Da da da. What do you do? Blah, blah. So I chatted about things, and in the end, I went, "Do you want me to just come and do a chat with them?" a small team of people. Says, just come on, just jump on and do a chat. He says, send me some dates. So I did. So I did it this morning. And the one that he wanted to sort of pick up on, it hasn't done yet, but still may. Yeah, one of the other ones has reached out. So we're going to organise a chat and, yeah, possibly work together. So that's a big win. And also a nice learning curve in a sense with that. Other wins. Went to see Gabor Mate last week. That was brilliant and fantastic. Nice to get on to London. If I do it again, I will be more time to catch up with Circles Peoples. Yeah, I think that's my biggest win at the minute. Oh, clients are starting to come in as well. Yes, which is good. So I've got a few new clients this week. So yeah.
Well done, you. So Helen, I think it's fair to say you went through this cycle over the last 12 months of doing a lot of networking, getting visible, winning clients. Then you tweaked what your offer was slightly, and the client stopped coming in. And you persevered with it for a while, but the clients still didn't come in. And now you've gone back to what was working, and the clients are starting to come back in.
Also, can I butt in and say that this is, as I may have already said, this is the third time of me doing this. And I don't think it's something you should just do once. I think you should go through it once and then go through it again and again and again. Because what you learn the first time, you add to doing it the second time and the third time as well.
Thank you. Thank you. George, let's come to you.
Okay. Wins for illustrating. I took on a new Google profile, business profile client from a recent spotlight I did. I took on a couple of new lead chess clients and upgraded one. And I've had some great collaboration calls. There's 3 people in particular that I'm having other calls with, discuss ways we can collaborate. So that's been great. I'm running the How Are You calls. And the one I've introduced to you, Rory McLachlan. He's contacted me because I started talking about writing my book, and he said he can do headshots, stuff like that. So I had a photo shoot with him on Friday there down at Stonehaven Harbour, and he's given me a fantastic price. And he's also really interested in maybe working together, promoting Stonehaven with the photography and stuff that he does, and, exchanging referrals and that. So that was a really good win. He's just sent me headshots this morning to pick for my book. So really excited about that. I did pass a couple of referrals as well. And the reason I want a mobile today is because I've got no computer for the rest of this week. The screen was damaged and I had to get it back up. And I was on the problem getting it backed up. And I went to the local computer guy and I was telling him, he says, there's no way you'll get that under guarantee. But I could back up the files for you. So I got him to back up the files, took it into Apple Store, and they've agreed to do it under guarantee. So I'll put it in it Saturday there. So it's going to get fixed this week under guarantee. Otherwise, it's going to cost me over £300. So that was our big win.
Well done, you. Congratulations. And it would be interesting to have a week off being on a screen all the time.
Yeah, well, that's my plan this week, because I'm not leaving it till if I get it back Thursday, but I'm going to still do about at least a minimum of 2 networking. But I've got other new stuff I'm working on for products as well, so there's plenty I can do. But I do miss my laptop.
Yeah, I'll bet. Congratulations. Thank you. Liz, let's come to you.
Yeah, I mean, last week I tried to have a bit of a mop-up week, to be honest, because the momentum has been fabulous and it's been creating results, but it means I've had new clients coming on board, so I've had to make space for them. But one of the things that I was quite conscious of is, like you were saying earlier, that as I was getting busy, I was getting quieter doing other things. So I've tried to pick some what I call core circle network groups that I go to. And then depending upon availability, I'll sort of squeeze in others. But like I managed to squeeze in this morning. So I'm sort of doing that as well. But I've had a really good week with collaboration calls and being able to free myself up. So Michelle and Rob from Dragon Consultancy. I'm working with them now. Sam Hollis this morning, I had a call with him. And so I got something in the pipeline there. And then I found that I was sort of struggling with the 2 VAs that I had. So I'm going to start working with Louise Purvis as well. So all of that's going to sort of free me up a bit more to do more of the stuff that I want to do and I need to do. So yeah, it's been a good week. Good week.
And you've smashed the goal that you wanted to hit as well, haven't you, for your first year in business?
Yeah. 6 weeks early. My goal by the 31st of October was to equal my corporate income basically. And yeah, I achieved that. 6 weeks early. And it's going to make a big difference to us because we're going into a slightly quieter time of year for my husband's business, and things as well. And that was like one of my big milestones, one of my big goals that I wanted to achieve. So yeah, tick that one off the list.
Well done. Congratulations. Thank you. Mr. Garner?
It's funny because when you first said wins, it caught me completely off guard. So I thought, shit, I haven't got any. I've got to find some. And once you start thinking about these things, there are actually quite a few. I've got a messenger because Helen doesn't know this yet, but I had one little personal win over myself. And I'm also aware of the fact that I owe Helen a testimonial. What have I done? Oh God, it's gone out of my mind now. I've followed up a couple of old. Oh, this is something between me and her. But I followed up on it. I had a couple of opportunities that kind of went. I didn't go to something in the spring, but they said I would do it later, so I've followed up on those, saying, "All right, I'll be ready now." I mean, they may be right, or they may be just trying to fob me off. But at least I know that way. A fair amount of client work going on, paid or not paid. Going quite a lot of stuff on LinkedIn. There's nothing actually. I've got no big win as such, but I'm doing quite a lot. I think still following up all the LinkedIn DMs and everything. Just hearing Liz talk about Sam, which reminds me, I need to contact Sam for a call because I think we've got a lot to talk about. As well, there was something else that was really important. It's gone out of my mind.
It happens, doesn't it? It happens.
It does,
This is why I say to everybody, write it all down.
Well, yeah, because I was sitting here trying to make up a list and thinking, no, I had a list in my head, but troubles with those hasty arranged lists, you forget them. If I think about it, I'll put it in the chat afterwards.
All right, thank you very much. And Lisa.
Hi, everybody. Well, I've had quite a few wins, not necessarily business related, but they are life related. The first business win, I guess I will tell you, is that obviously, you know, I had an HR consultancy previously. I put that into liquidation actually this time last year. And so September, I do my invoicing on the 1st of September. And I had the best month for findyourtribe.club in August, which was good. And that I was really pleased about. On the personal win side, some of you know my story. I'm 18 years clear breast cancer, and I've become an ambassador for Prevent Breast Cancer, which is a phenomenal charity run out of Wythenshawe Hospital in the Northwest. Been going 27 years. I'm doing a fundraiser on the 1st of November, and I thought, oh, well, I'll see if I can get a sponsor, you know. And you know what it's like, imposter syndrome comes in. You think, oh, I don't want to sponsor anything I'm doing. And I thought, you know what? I'd spoken to a couple of people about it previously. And I contacted one of the lawyers in my network and I just said, look, you know, I've got this sponsorship deal, 500 quid, but you get 4 tickets for the event. How are you up for it? And immediately she responded back, yeah, Lisa, sign me up. I'll do that. Send all the details to my marketing girl. She'll sort it all out for you. So she's done made all the LinkedIn, the social media posts for me. So that was brilliant. Got a fantastic deal at the venue that we're using. And this is what I always say about, you know, go-givers. I may not always get back business, but I always get something back. because people know that you're there to help them. And Lucy, who is the family lawyer that I've known for a very long time and is sponsoring the event, you know, I've put people her way over the years, and she doesn't forget that. But also, Lucy likes to be very, very well, you know, sort of, you know, she does like to support lots of events. But I also reached out to Cheshire Life. I do know Joanna Goodwin, who's the editor there, and I thought, oh, well, again, imposter syndrome. If I asked Joanna, would they do a feature? You know, would they feature it in Cheshire Life? I thought, oh, sod it, you know, I'll ask. And she said, oh, yeah, Lisa, send me all the details. We'll get a photographer there. So this whole thing about I can't do that because who am I? Why are people interested in me? It's all, well, Helen will tell you, it's all in your head. You make it up.
Yes.
You make it up. So for me, wins aren't always about business wins. You know, I win at life. So whatever happens to me, I'm a winner. You know, I'm 18 years clear of breast cancer, so that's one hell of a big win. And also, I'm in happy mood because, you know, in less than 2 weeks, I'll be in Brazil. And when I was asked this morning by Graham, oh, will you be around in 2 weeks to attend? I went, I will still be asleep in Brazil, so no, I won't be there.
Love it.
So that's it.
So, right, and it's really important. If you're just watching Lisa there talking about her wins and how she was glowing, we forget that stuff because life can grind us down if we let it. And it's so easy not to think about the good things when bad things come along. That's why I really encourage people to think about good things and do good things for other people. And it all starts to compound and you end up with a spiral circle that goes up.
And I've got a fantastic speaker at my event, a girl called Kerry Danes. I don't know if you're on. She does a TV program called Faking It, and she's actually a forensic psychologist. And you know, Charlie Bronson, the guy who's been in prison for 40 odd years, you know, the most vicious criminal apparently ever walked the planet. When he went for his tried his appeal last year, she was a forensic psychologist who had to assess him to see whether he was capable of being released from prison. And so Kerry's fabulous. You know, she don't live too far from me, and we had a lovely walk on Saturday. And she's going to do a thing about being authentic. About, you know, because we were talking about, you know, everybody says, oh, you've got to have a positive mindset. Yeah, it is nice, but positive mindset doesn't get you through everything. Sometimes shit happens. And I think it's just about embracing that and how you deal with that. So that's going to be an interesting talk. So my ask is share my stuff when you see that on Facebook, because I need to sell 100 tickets. I've got a target.
Love it. Okay. Right. So this is the last week of this current course. So next Monday is the conference, and then it starts again the Monday after. So if anybody wants to come and do this again, it starts again 2 weeks today. Right, so let's think about the stuff that you should have done, right? So the whole idea of this program is it's in bite-sized pieces so that you can spend 90 minutes with me and then go away and do something and then come back the following week. Who's doing how are you calls every week? So you don't need to put your hands up, but who's doing how are you calls every week? Who's downloaded the tracker and is tracking their activity so that you can look back and go, oh, do you know what? I've got nothing in my pipeline right now. I wonder why that is. And then you can track back and go, oh, well, I've done less networking. I've had fewer collaboration calls with people. I've not been passing referrals. And it's the stuff that you did over the last 6 weeks that will impact your results in the next 6 weeks. So I see a lot of people that slow down in the summer, and then it takes ages once you get to September, October to build momentum up again. And then they build it up until December, and then they slow down in December, and it goes through these cycles like this, and it doesn't necessarily impact you in December, but January and February will be quiet. Equally, I've spoke to people and said, right, keep, you know, for 2 or 3 weeks in December, keep going, keep the momentum going. That will see you through into the new year. And people have had their best ever, not best ever Januaries, but their best ever months in business in December and January because they just kept the momentum going. So you can be smarter with your time and get more done. So I'm all about keeping going. So, and a good example of that, me and Lou joined the gym a couple of weeks ago. So we're just into the start of week 3 now. Even just after, like, so Saturday morning, having Sunday off and then coming back to it on a Monday morning can feel tiring, right? But it's easy to have a week off networking and not do anything, but you don't feel tired when you come back. You just haven't done it. And nobody says to you, "Do you know you didn't pass any referrals last week? You didn't have any conversations about your business last week," because they're just meeting with other people. So you'll skip a week or skip 2 weeks and nothing happens and there's no consequence. And then before you know it, there's a knock-on effect in your business. So I really want you to use that habit tracker as a weekly habit tracker so you can either set your goals or track your result, track the things that you've done. And it's not necessarily about the sales results. It's about meeting with people, supporting other people, conversations that you're having. It's all the almost like intangible activity that doesn't necessarily get you business that compounds to get you the results that you want. You know, the main thing that I track is referrals that I pass. So the referrals that I pass usually come from going networking, having collaboration calls with people will lead me to pass referrals. And then if I track passing referrals, I know that I've been networking. I know that I've had collaboration calls to have those conversations, and then I receive referrals. So I'd really encourage you to work out what the key metrics are for you so that you can have a steadier kind of business rather than feast and famine, because that doesn't help us. It might not feel stressful, but you can't plan, you can't enjoy, you can't relax. But if you've got a predictable income and you know that if you consistently pass referrals, I was on a call with someone last week and someone WhatsApped me and it popped up on my phone and I said, "Oh, can I just take this?" So, and it was someone sat with someone then and they wanted the link to sign somebody up for the conference. I wasn't even there. That's what your referral team can do for you when you do it for them. So you can have this sales force that works for you when you're not around. That's why I really want you to build a referral team. You can't build a referral team in 6 weeks, but you can start the momentum going. So if you think, who's written their vision out? So I said right at the start to have your vision, your 90-day goals, and saying these things and sharing them with other people. So by saying it out loud helps it go in here. That's why affirmation, we don't think about affirmations, do we? We say affirmations out loud because it goes in differently when we say it out loud. Sharing your goals and sharing your vision with people helps it go in here and stop being forgotten because it's on a Word document somewhere. Hang on, I can find it. That's not going to help anybody achieve what it is that you want. It's got to be stuff that you've got around. What the other stuff? So consistent networking, showing up, being more visible, more than one collaboration call with people, one-off meetings with people don't lead to business opportunities. I said right at the start, we're in the world of business dating. So you don't go on one date and get married, usually. So why would you just have one meeting with somebody and expect them to pass you a ton of referrals? You've got to have multiple meetings with people, and it's getting in the habit and the frequency with people so that you're top of mind with them. That's what you want, top of mind awareness. That's why I tag people on social media. That's why I comment on posts on social media. It's a way of paying it forward, helping them, but also staying visible with people. Sending voice notes, WhatsApping people, ringing them. You know, if you're just out and you've got 5 minutes spare, give somebody a call. You know, how are your calls, reconnecting with people, that kind of stuff. What else did we talk about? Then we talked about your ideal client. Has everybody got their ideal client description written down? Because that's crucial. If you don't have that, how can you judge your results from networking if you don't really know what you're looking for? It's like somebody asking you for directions. So Liz, where do you want directions to? Oh, I don't know. Well, I can't help you unless you know where you want to go. But the majority of people go networking without knowing where they're going. So you've got to have it clear. But it's got to be something. And if you if you go networking, so I'll use Helen as an example of this. So she had this idea of something that she wanted to offer for a very specific niche of people, and went and talked about it, did spotlights about it, promoted it on social media, but no one was interested. Now, it might be that some people are interested, but maybe it's just not the right time or they haven't got the money. So there comes a point where you've got to reflect on what you're doing and make some changes. Just doing the same thing and again and again and again, expecting different results isn't the right thing to do. Now, and there's a balance, isn't there? You've got to be persistent and consistent, but you've also got to think, well, is this working, or should I try something else? And it was a tweak. It wasn't like complete overhaul. She wasn't like a virtual assistant and suddenly became a coach. So it was just what she was asking for and the type of people that she wanted. So having a clear idea of your ideal client helps. And until you've got your ideal client clear, you can't find referral partners. So you can't find a referral partner if you don't know what your ideal client is. So my ideal client, if it's people that work rurally, then Liz is going to be a great person for me. If I want to work with copywriters that are digital nomads, then Liz probably doesn't know too many of those. She might know a couple, and she might stumble upon people, but she's not going to be a referral partner to pass me consistent referrals. Because what I really want is, if for argument's sake, the rural economy was the big thing for me, I want people in my team who have got clients like that they meet every week. So I don't want to create any extra work for Liz. All I want her to do is, as she's speaking to her clients each week, and we all speak to our clients each week, that she just brings me up in conversation. That's what you want from a referral partner. Someone that deals with your kind of clients each week, and that they just introduce you to one or two of them. And if you've got 4 or 5 referral partners, then that could be 4 or 5 or 10 referrals a week. Now, it depends on how well you've trained them and their ability to be able to bring you up in conversation. But you're all familiar with that thing of pointing the finger of blame. So there's one finger. When you say they're not doing it, so if I was pointing my finger at Dave's shit, he's not passed me any referrals, then I'm pointing one finger at him. There's 3 fingers pointing back at me. It could be that I've not passed him a referrals. It could be that I've not met with him regular enough. It could be that I've not taught him how to bring me up in conversation. So it's not the other person, it's always us. So think about that. So you've got your vision, you've got your 90-day plan. You've worked out your ideal client, and you've got an idea of some people that could be referral partners. Then you need to get to know them, find them referrals, interact with their social media, turn up at the networking events that they're at, teach them about you. It doesn't take many people to start passing you the clients that you want. Amma, how many clients do you generally work with each month? You're on mute there.
Maximum 3 clients. These are the 3 clients I can handle at one time.
Okay, so we're not talking huge numbers. That's 36 people a year.
Yeah.
So if you had a new build websites, do you do the graphic design?
It depends what kind of graphic design. If it's related to the website, yes, I do, but not for social media.
Copywriting?
Yeah, copywriting I do.
You're ruling out your referral partners here, by the way. So, you're going to tell me that you take photographs next, aren't you?
No, I know someone.
Okay.
Someone who does the photographs.
Yeah.
Branding.
Somebody that does Google AdWords and Facebook adverts, social media experts. What else might you want to work with? Someone that does SEO, perhaps if SEO is not your thing, but it's building a team of people that are speaking to your kind of clients each week.
I could be the right referral for them because they need SEO and social media after they have the website.
Yeah.
So,
but it's for all of you, it's having that handful of people that are just going, right there. If they would just bring me up in conversation each week in their meetings, and ideally, And I do it like this. So, like, if you had a book with your diary and you'd show somebody, here's who I'm going to be meeting with next week. Who do you want me to introduce you to? That's the dream. Not like, oh, do you know what? Liz, I spoke to someone last week. I met with them. I should have brought you up in conversation. That's what most people do. It's like, oh God, if I only had thought about this last week. You want to be proactive with this, where that you're going, right, so next week, who are you meeting with? Here's who I'm meeting with. So if let's say I was meeting with Dave McCall next week, and me and Liz were talking about it, and I say, so Liz, I'm meeting with Dave McCall next week, and you go, oh my God, I really want to meet. He sounds like just the right kind of person. And I tell you a bit about him, and then you teach me how to bring you up in conversation so that when I'm meeting with him next week, I go, right, that's brilliant, Dave. So we finished all that stuff. Before I go, can I just mention this? So do you struggle with this, this, and this? Oh, I know this that would be brilliant for you. And I'll tell you something about it, and then I set up a meeting. But I don't just go, I'll send you an email with an introduction. In an ideal world, because I've been proactive, I've already got Liz's meeting booking link, a Calendly link or something like that. I go, Dave, let me just pop this in the chat. You can book a meeting with her now. And then it's done and dusted. So you can have free appointment setters working for you, or even salespeople. It depends on what it is that you're doing, what you're offering. You've got to make it easy for people. But it takes a little bit of hard work. But it's not hard. It's just consistent effort. So if you start thinking ahead, you know, have you all got meetings in your diary next week? Yep. Do you ever sit and think, all right, who am I seeing next week? Oh, I'm seeing Lisa next week. Wonder who I could introduce to Lisa. Like, to be a little bit more proactive with it rather than reactive. And if Lisa's my ideal kind of client and she's George's ideal kind of client, because we're referral partners, we deal with the same people, it should, you know, so let's say that George specialized in Google My Business for ex-HR consultants that are now business coaches and entrepreneurs. Then it would be really easy for me to know what to say to Lisa to get her to want to have a meeting with George. This should be easy. It should just flow. But you can pick your referral team. You can all pick your referral. So you're not waiting for somebody else to go, Lisa, Liz, George, Helen, do you want to be on my team? You're picking your team, right? So you're in control of it. We're not waiting for anybody else. It's down to you. And you might go, right, so I really want Mike on my team. Mike, can we set up a couple of meetings? I'd like to let's meet once a month to begin with, because I think we could probably collaborate really well. Your ideal kind of client sounds very similar to mine. And I think if we got to know each other better and what we do, we should be able to introduce clients to each other. Are you interested? It's going to be a fool who says no to that, isn't it? And then you start meeting on a regular basis and you start doing some stuff. And the sooner you pass referrals to somebody else, the sooner that they're going to feel the need to reciprocate. That's what this is about. Most people don't do this. Most people don't do this. So there's a template in the Google Drive for you to download to create your sales and networking plan. I really encourage you to do this. And use that as a place to drop all your stuff in, print it off, have it on your desk, scribble on it, write notes. We talked about getting to know your people as well. So once you do start to think, so if, for argument's sake, so let me talk about Paul. So because he's not here today, because he's in Spain or Greece, at his daughter's wedding. How nice is that? So it was his birthday yesterday, and he's abroad, and his daughter's getting married when the weather's been rubbish here.
Win-win.
So knowing your people, how many of your potential referral partners do you know stuff about them? Where do you keep your records? Where do you scratch it down? Where do you think, you know, like if you've got someone that's a potential referral partner, when was the last, so have you all got a list of names that you think these people could be referral partners?
Mm.
Yeah. And if you look down the list, who have you not spoken to in the last week?
Mm.
It needs to be weekly. It should be a couple of times a week. These are going to be your business best friends. So nobody else can help you build that relationship. I can make the introduction. So I could introduce Lisa and Helen to each other, but I can't make them referral partners. That's down to them to do it. They've got to get to know each other. They've got to bring up the other person in conversation and be proactive with it rather than reactive. That's what we want, to be proactive. We can all just bumble along waiting for someone to go, oh, does anyone know anyone that can help with Google My Business? And we all go, yeah, George. Or does anybody know anyone that can get me tickets for the Abu Dhabi F1? And we'd go, yeah, speak to Dave. That's nice. And we would do that, but anybody could do that. The difference is when we're chatting with somebody and we get to know them, like we do at Circle Networks, and they tell us about their hobbies and interests, and they go, oh my God, I'm a huge F1 fan. Really? How huge? Well, I'm going to be 40 next year, and I want to go to an international Formula One. I don't just want to do the sitting in the crowd at the back. I want to be in the word's just gone right out of it. In the paddock. I want to be with the drivers and in the teams. And I want brake dust and fumes all over me. Right, you need to speak to Dave. In fact, you don't just need to speak to him. Would you like me to set a meeting up for you with him? He specializes in F1 trips, and he can get you next. That's the kind of stuff that we should be doing for people. Proactive rather than reactive.
Jamie, can I tell you something spooky?
Go on.
As you were saying that, I had an email come up about the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix next year, literally in my corner.
Wow.
No bullshit. I couldn't believe that. Wow.
Right, okay. And then the next thing I want to have is I'm just going to write 6 numbers down, and then I'm going to put them on the lottery, and I'm going to win the lottery on Wednesday night. Let's see if that can come through as well.
Yeah. And they are what?
and then the phone's going to ring, and someone's going to want to give me £1 million. That would be nice as well. I would love that to happen. But you've got to take control of your future, right? Identify your referral team, build a brilliant relationship with them, pass them referrals. We all want to receive referrals. We know how good it feels when someone else has done the sales job for us. So I'll give you an example of that. So Paul McGowan introduced Rebecca Maloney into Circle Networks. Rebecca Maloney invited along a visitor called Paul, I forgot his surname now, Turner. He messaged me this morning. Paul Turner. So Chris Griffiths met Paul and has built up a relationship with him, and they're working on something now. It's of no benefit to Chris to do this. But Paul has joined Circle Networks today. He's going to be a member of Paul's. And that's what helping other people does. That you end up with a sales team that do stuff on your behalf, and you don't even have to do anything. But well, you do. You've got to reciprocate. And it's easier to do. I think that recommending is easier than selling. Because with selling, you've got to overcome resistance. So if I got Lisa, do you want to buy this thing off me? And you're like, oh, I'm not sure. But if I got Lisa, Liz has got this thing that I think would be perfect for you. It's a different conversation completely. Oh, why do you think it's perfect for me? And if me and Lisa have got a good relationship and we respect each other, well, if Jamie thinks it's good for me, it must be good for me. I'm going to take a serious look at this. Whereas if I go, Lisa, buy my stuff, she's just thinking that I'm doing it because I've got a vested interest. And it's subconscious that we have this subconscious resistance to sales, which is different to somebody recommending something for us. That's why referrals are more powerful than sales, in my opinion. Other people will have different views, but I think you can build a consistent pipeline of business if you refer enough people, enough of the right people. They will go out of their way. You've got to teach them. You've got to tell them what you're looking for. And sometimes I think we paint this view of the world that everything's perfect. My life is great. on social media, if you just watched most people's stuff on social media, they're flying, they're winning at life, they're doing great, then you might look at them and go, they probably don't need any help because they're doing so well. But they desperately need it. That's why they post on social media. That's why they're going networking, because they want help. And some of it is just a mask. So you've got to get beneath the mask and find out what people really want and then help them. It's not rocket science, this, but it's easy not to do it. And this is what I see. Most people know they should be doing stuff, but we don't have a boss. There's no one kicking our ass if we don't do it. So if you don't pass any referrals this week, nobody at the end of the week goes, George, what the hell are you playing at? Why haven't you passed any referrals this week? How can you expect any if you're not passing any? Yeah, if you've not been to many networking events already, or if you've not had collaboration calls, or you've not done the things that you said you were going to do, there is nobody kicking our ass. So you've got to be the best networker around. And you do that for the people in your network, and they will reciprocate for you. So think about some of the stuff that we've talked about over the last few weeks. Your ideal client. Have you shared your ideal client with anyone that's a potential referral partner? Have you asked them who their ideal client is? Have you tried, and I think some of this is trial and error. So let's say I thought Mike was a potential referral partner for me, and I'm going to be meeting a client this week who needs some help with some testimonials. And I might try. So let's say I'm meeting with George, and I go, George, I was looking through your Google, and this wouldn't be the case, but George, I was looking through your Google profile, and you've got no recommendations on there. I was looking on your website, and there's no testimonials from clients on there. So I would do my homework first. And then George goes, nah. And I'm like, oh, so Mike, I tried, but I messed it up. What could I do better next time? We don't always get 100% success. So then Mike would go, well, what did you say to him? I said, you need some testimonials, right? And what else? I said, that was it. And he might go, well, maybe it might help if you change your approach and try this instead, Jamie, because he knows his stuff better than I do. So if you're, open up with people. So I'm going to be meeting with these people. Who would you like an introduction to? What would you like me to say? How can I do it? What do I need? Testimonials, video testimonials. Maybe you've got your own lead chest link that explains what you do, and there's a meeting link at the end of it, or a Calendly link, or whatever it might be. Whatever your thing is, are you consistently teaching people or not? Because the better you get at teaching other people how to help you, the more that you'll learn about them. I get really frustrated when people don't have a meeting booking link, like a Calendly link. It really helps when you're referring people if you've got a Calendly link rather than the back end two. I introduced two people and neither of them had a booking link. And I'm in this group chat and it's like LinkedIn message tennis where one person would write a message one day, the next day the other one would reply, then the next day and the next day. I think it went on for about 8 days before they eventually had a meeting. Anyway, they became client. One became the client of the other. So it was a win in the end. It was just painful to watch. So are you making it easy for people? And then we talked about Dream 100. Did we touch on Dream 100 last week? Yeah. So you probably never get to 100 names on there, but have that list and start sharing that. It's when you get specific on things like this, it can really help people. And you don't need many of your Dream 100 to make a difference. So I encourage people to, it's like the 80-20 rule. 80% of it on your ideal client, 20% on your Dream 100. And it might just be at the end of your conversations. At the end of it, you just go, so Dave, thanks very much. It's been great catching up. But have I ever shared my Dream 100 with you? No, what's that? Okay, let me just bring it up. And you might just bring it up on the screen and show them. So like, if I could just work with one of these people, Dave, it would be huge. And I'm trying to think of, so like, let's say Richard Branson joined Circle Networks. How cool would that be? Right? It would be so cool. But then who else would I like? I'd probably like, and I could probably go through Like the authors of my books that I've got, those are probably the kind of people that I would like. Simon Sinek, brilliant to have him in Circle Networks or on my podcast as a guest. Just, some of it is just the association with some of these people would be really good. In your local area, there will be influencers and influential people in your industry. So there's all sorts of people who might do that, but you don't want to be keeping this secret. You've got to share it with people. So has anybody shared their Dream 100 or somebody off their Dream 100 with anybody else?
Yeah.
Go on.
Yeah, I did. So I had a call from a guy called Dave. I haven't spoken to Dave for 15 years. He rang me. I left a message ages ago on his phone, and he's in finance. And there's a finance guy that I want to get hold of. And he said, I know him. I'm going out to see him in a few months. I'll put you together.
That's the thing. You don't know who people know.
Yeah.
You don't know who people know. So you've got to be a little bit proactive with it. And you might just tag it on. There's an acronym that someone told me, which will stand out in your mind. Big dick. Okay, Helen, it's not like that. So if you write it down, it's BIGDYK. Before I go, did you know? Or do you know? And you just tag it on at the end of your meetings, the end of your conversations. Oh, before I go, George, do you know that I've got a lot of people in my network? So if ever you need any help with anything, just let me know. I can do that. It's a really easy thing to do. And now it could be anything. Before I go, did you know I've got a special offer on right now? Before I go, do you know that I run a networking group? Or I go now. There's loads of different ways. But just add it on to the end. At the end of a meeting, people have dropped their guard. So the business is done. We're packing up. We're wrapping up. It's when so it's like are you watching the game tonight? What are you doing this weekend? What have you got planned? It's that kind of feeling. People's guard is down. Before I go, did you know? And it's surprising that the last 5 minutes, and I think I said this last week, I recorded a podcast and we'd stopped recording and we're just wrapping up, and she went, oh, by the way, I know royalty and government officials if you want any. It's the best time to do stuff, but you've got to have it on your agenda at the end. It's really easy not to. So I want you to have some structure to what you're doing with this. Most people are just winging it with their networking. They're winging it with their sales activity. They're winging it with lead generation. Well, I've posted on social media today. Right. So over the last week, I've been super, super consistent with my LinkedIn since January. And I've posted every single day, at least once, apart from the last week where I've just run out of a bit of steam. Do you know what? I've still received referrals. Right? It's not impacted my lead generation in any way by skipping a day or two of posting on social media. Now, I still do it, and I've still been interacting with other people's stuff, and I will still do it. I can't not do it. But passing referrals leads to me receiving referrals. Going networking. Has anybody been networking so far today? Yep. Can you think of the people that were not there? You can tell me who was there, can't you? But out of sight is out of mind. More than anything with networking. If you're not in the room, you're not asking for something, you're not asking questions of people, they're not thinking about you. Because they're just listening to the other people that are there. So it's a visibility thing. It's a participation sport. You can't network by not going networking. You can't pass referrals to people if you don't know what they're looking for. So you've got to be around people. You've got to see them. And then it makes, and you can have conversations. Oh my God, do you know what? Big client quit over the weekend. I could really do with some help. You can't do that over social media. You can't do it by text message. It's a conversation that you have with people. So you can be a little bit vulnerable. That's why your vision and sharing why you do what you do with people makes such a difference. I can't stress this enough, but have a plan. If you don't have a plan, if you my podcast, I'm trying to make it. I try to improve lots of things, but my podcast is one of my things at the moment. I've got 2 post-it notes on my screen. One of them is my mission for my podcast, where we help you build your network so you can increase your income. That's my mission. That's what I want to achieve with my podcast. I've got it on a post-it note because I don't know it off by heart yet, and I forget about it. And then I've got some other stuff around, one of the things is, what's the one question this episode will answer? So like, where are your networking prompts? Because it's really easy to go networking. And then someone goes, so what are you looking for, George? Thanks for asking. I don't know. Anyone really? I just thought I'd come along because it was in my diary. And how many times have you bumped into people that don't know what they want? So I'm there. When I'm networking, I've got my pen in my hand. And if you're speaking, I'm ready to write. But I'm waiting for something specific to help with. And I won't just write waffle down. Well, sometimes I do. Sometimes I go, XYZ talked shit. I've written that down before. I have written that down. Wasted my time. Right? I want you to make it easy for me. When I'm in networking mode, I am there ready to pass referrals. But so many people miss the opportunity. They have a nice chat. I can go upstairs and have a chat with Lou and have a nice chat. I can walk the dogs and bump into people and have a nice chat. When I'm networking, I want to help people. If you're not getting the referrals that you want, then I'm going to challenge you that you're not doing something right. It's not them. It's us. So we've got to make it easy for people. Just going networking isn't going to. So let me give you if this was a networking event and there was 8 of us on, how much? Who's got loads of free time this week?
A little bit.
A little bit. Okay, not loads. A little bit.
A little bit. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So if everybody shared their ask, and let's say there was more. Let's say there was 16 of us on this. Realistically, you're not going to have enough time to help all 16 people, are you? All 15. You're going to do the easiest ones first. So if ours doesn't come in the easy to do category, it's probably not going to happen. Because people are busy and they've got their own stuff to do. We've got to make it easy for people. That's the bit that I think that we miss. Now, I think that mine is quite easy. I've got my lead chest thing set up from George. Got that link. I just want people to click on that link and watch the video. That's the easiest thing that I've got. On one of the things I shared with you, 10 ways to help me. I think it was maybe week 2 that we did that. I've got a document that's got 10 ways to help me. One of the things says, get someone to book a ticket for the conference. It doesn't say share the link for the conference with people. It says get them to book. And that's what someone did. They were sat with somebody last week. They wanted them to book. They asked me for the link. Emma.
So you just said that. So that's the easiest thing you want them to do. You just pass your link. So would you also say that you should send this link to my ideal clients, or you just send it to, would you say something with that link that should go?
So in an ideal world, we would be in the middle of a conversation and you say to me, do you know what? Now that you've described what you're looking for, Jamie, I can think of someone that would be a good fit for you for Circle Networks. What should I do? And I go, okay, let me just send you this link. If you could just speak to them, get them to watch this, then it explains everything. Because if I know you, like you, trust you, I don't know what you do as well as you do. So me trying to repeat so you should speak to Amma. He writes copy, does a bit of graphic design, he builds your website, isn't going to come across in the same way as it would from you. Equally with my networking stuff, I just say it all the time, so I've put it into a video that's easy for people to watch. That's what I want. Now, yours might be different. Yours might be that you've got a free audit for someone's website and that you give a booking link, and I speak to somebody and I go, Helen, I think your website's a bit ropey. I've got a friend of mine, and I know you well enough to say that it's not, but I'm generalizing now. But if I knew you well enough to say that, and I'd looked at your website and thought it could be better, and then we're having a conversation about it, you go, yeah, I hate my website and I've not updated it for 2 years actually, and I don't even know how to do it or where to start. And I go, oh, you should speak to Emma because he can do a free audit of your website and he'll give you some ideas of things that you could do. And it may be that you want to work with him, but he just offers this as a free service. Why don't you book in here? And if you've given me the booking link, so that might be. We've got to tell people what we want them to do. Now, Emma, you might not want to deal with coaches. So it might be that you want to deal with copywriters instead. So then if I've said to you, oh, I know this brilliant coach called Helen, her website's terrible, and you go, can't stand dealing with coaches. And I go, okay, let me introduce you to Mike then. He's a copywriter. Perfect. I love dealing with copywriters because they write their own copy for the website. All I need to do is lay it out and blah, 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 blah. See, we've got to know what we want, hone in on people, make it easy for them, so that if I've spoke to you, and this is what I think happens with networking. So we'll all network and we'll go, so this week, hi, I'm Jamie. I've got 2 dogs, I've got kids, I coach people, blah, blah, blah. We do all that stuff. And my ideal referral would be someone that goes networking that's not getting results for them. And it stops at that point generally. What I really want is for someone to go, oh, I know someone. Pick me. I know someone. And then I go, brilliant. Tell me quickly. Or let's have a call and you tell me about them and I'll tell you what to do. But it doesn't happen that. What generally is, so I'll introduce myself. I'll do my thing. This is what I'm looking for. Hopefully people are writing some notes down. And then after the meeting, 1 or 2 things will happen. They'll never look back over those notes again, which I think happens a lot. Or they look at it and go, don't really know what to do. I'll do it later. And they procrastinate over it and then they still never do it. So as well as not writing it down. So we've kind of got to pick up on the cues of people so that and this is why I say, give me your attention to people when I'm talking, because people give you their attention. And then who knows someone? So does anybody know a coach that lives in Cumbria that might want to improve their networking? Well, Helen's clearly got someone in mind. I need to make a mental note of that and own it, and then get in touch with Helen afterwards. So, Helen, when I was describing my ideal client, I saw that you had that knowing look in your eye. And follow up. So we've got to own it because everyone's busy. Everyone's thinking about themselves. They're not thinking about us. You've got to become an amazing salesperson, right? But we won't call it sales. We'll call it an amazing networker. But when we first start our businesses, we don't think that. All we want is clients. The step before getting clients is either becoming a brilliant salesperson or a networker. That is like, like if we were playing a computer game, that's the level that you've got to unlock to get the bit that you really want. But nobody's got that in mind. So I want you all to be great networkers. So you've got to find some people that deal with your clients that you can build a relationship with and start passing them referrals. You can do the sales activity along the way. You'll meet some people that show that they want to become a client and you sign them up as clients. And statistically, it's a very small percentage of the people that you meet from networking. Some people are different. I use Dave as an example here. The majority of people that go networking like holidays. It's right up there with food, isn't it? Holidays, food, that kind of stuff. Whereas Mike helping them with copy for emails, it's a smaller percentage. They might need it, but they don't necessarily want it like they do a holiday or food. If we all ran a restaurant, if I had HelloFresh, I'd be smashing it in Circle Networks because everyone's a potential client. They're all busy. We're all a bit more niche. So that's why we've got to find referral partners that deal with our ideal clients. Networking's the place to meet people, to filter people. You pick the one or two that you follow up with. And I am quite choosy about who I follow up with. So it's either because I can help them or I think that we can collaborate. But really, realistically, I'm only going networking to meet one person. That's my goal. So out of the whole room, it's one person. And sometimes that one person isn't there. It's not to meet everyone, because then you just end up a mile wide and an inch deep. And Dave, how many connections have you got on LinkedIn roughly?
10,000 or so.
How many of them do you know well?
500 maybe.
Well enough that you know their kids?
100.
So, but I could drill into it, like, and knowing them well is broad, isn't it? It's quite vague. How many of them have passed you introductions?
30.
Okay, so then we're getting, out of 10,000 people, 30. So what's that as a percentage? My maths isn't that good.
0.03.
Yeah, times 100. 0.3% of his connections know him well enough to pass him a referral. And yet out of those 10,000 connections, they will all know somebody that wants a holiday. And 30 have passed him introductions. So we're not in the high volume game with this. This is a very select number of people that you get to choose who's in your team. You want to be picking somebody that's good at what they do, that deals with your ideal client, that you would be happy to introduce to your top client. And then I would challenge you to say, why haven't you introduced them to your top client? Most people don't. Oh, well, because, like, these are my best clients. I don't just introduce anyone to them, but you want everyone else's best clients. So you've got to introduce people to your best client. Oh, but they're different. My best clients are different because they're, think about, they work at a different level. They're not those kind of people. We come up with all the excuses then, but we still want everybody else's best clients. And they're going to be having the same conversation in their head. Well, I'll introduce you to a random stranger that just happens to ask for a holiday, a copywriter, a website, a coach, some support with HR. But my best clients, not sure about that. I'll do that tomorrow. I'll do it next week. I'll do it never. And yet, if you want to pass more referrals, the best place to go is the people that already know you really well and ask them what they need help with. Now, that's where catch-up calls with clients really comes into its own. So you're not, Amar's just finished a website for somebody. That guy's going to be really happy. You might then ring him up and go, so you've got your website now? That's brilliant. Do you know that I go networking? I know a lot of really good people. So what's the next thing that you've got to do in your business? Because it's not just, I've launched my website. I've got no problems in the world. There'll be the next thing. They've just ticked that website off the list. They'll be, like today, what have I had to do today? Full disclosure, I've only just ordered the trophies today, but that's sorted. Friday, I got all the print sorted, so I had to get the graphic design done before that. But I feel like I'm ahead of the game though with a lot of stuff. But like these are just little things that I've got to get done. If someone said to me, "So what's on your list?" and I reamed off a big list of things that I've got to get done this week. Everyone's got that list, but we're not asking them proactively. What's on your to-do list? What you're struggling with? What's going to stop you hitting your 90-day goal? What's your big plan for next year? Like I'm more organized now. I've got a couple of the speakers booked for next year's conference. I know what price I'm selling it at. I've got something special to encourage people to. I've got to be careful what I'm saying here. Got something special that I've got in mind to encourage people to book their tickets. Like I'm ahead of the game. I was doing this like the day before last year. So I've got a much bigger team. So so some of you won't know, when we got to the conference last year, I had done everything. I'd done all the social media. I did the website. I did the copy. I wrote all the emails. And I said, feel like I can breathe. Do you remember this, Helen? I said, I feel like I can breathe a sigh of relief because Ilse's coming on board to help with the marketing. And it's been a godsend over the last 12 months. It's just one less thing for me to think about. All your clients will have things other than the stuff that you do that they need help with. You should have the referral partner to help them. And then that locks your clients in. They love dealing with you because you can fix all their problems. And then they keep coming back to you. And like Lisa said, she put a sponsorship opportunity out, and someone that she passes loads of referral took her up on that. That's how it works. We help with one thing, they come back with another. Not the same day, but when the time's right. So that's my biggest challenge for you. Take that template that's in as a Word document and download it and start to fill it out. If you want to come back and do this, it starts again in 2 weeks' time. It's a refresher. You know, you could. I went to last week. Was it Thursday morning? Jonathan Bunn ran his 6 ways to improve your business. I've been to that 3 times now. I could probably deliver it, right? But I went there to support Jonathan so that I'm there chatting with other people. I ask some good questions, and he knows that he can ask me questions. So at a certain point, oh, so Jamie, what would you say to this? And you get that participation, which helps. I'm there making up numbers, so it fills up. And there was 5 or 6 of us there from Circle Networks. So it felt like a Circle Networks event. Debbie Mosley was there. I was there. Chris Monaghan was sat next to Martin Fletcher. They didn't even know that they knew each other. So they both sat down next to each other. And then one asked the other, so what do you do? Who are you? And he was like, oh, Chris from Spiky Carrot. And Martin looks at him, and this is telling me the story. Are you in Circle Networks? And they'd both actually spoken before, but because it's in person, it was different. They hadn't realized. Oh, and Haley Baxter was there as well. So I think like a third of the people there were from Circle Networks. It was quite good. So I got selfies with everybody, took some pictures for Jonathan. I wasn't listening to the content though. I just used that to, he was talking about some stuff and I was like, all right, okay, what do I need to do? And I was working on my stuff while I was sat there listening. So that's how you can use this. You can just put it in your diary. So when we're talking about ideal client, you can be doing the ideal client stuff, but you can use it for some accountability as well and come back. The people that I see that do it, Paul McGowan's a good example. He's done it about 4 times now. It layers, and like Helen said, it helps it going in different ways.
Add into that, Jeremy, like you just said there, layers. I kind of, the first time I did this, I think it was only really the first couple of sessions that I really got to grips with. Then I did it again, and I kind of knew the first couple of sessions, so I kind of was then able to add the second couple onto that, and obviously doing it the 3rd time now. I feel like if I did, well, when I do it again, it feels like everything will flow much easier.
Yeah. But like, I don't mind. I just want you to do well from networking. And it's not really networking. I want you to do well in business and life, right? So I want you all to be happy. We need clients for that. If I can help you be better networkers, then you're going to get what you want, that you're going to have more clients, you're going to have a happy life. As well, after into October, I'm going to start the Scale Up Accelerator, which is included in your conference tickets. And that is designed to help you really step out of doing all the doing and start to build a team. That's what that bit is. I think we all get hooked into, like Amar said, right, I'm a web developer and I do it. And when I've got 3 clients, then I'm full and then everything else suffers. The only way that we can, and we all go through it, if we take 2 weeks off, then our income drops. I want you all to get to the point where you can have 2 weeks off and it doesn't have an impact on your income. That's the dream to get to. All we do when we first start out, we've created a job for ourselves. And it's a low paid job because we don't get paid for holidays. So I want you to create something and build something so that it's not impacted by the hours that you have in the business, but more akin to your effort and the team's effort. And the beauty of this world that we live in now, we don't have to employ people. You can have somebody that does something for an hour a week or 2 hours a week or just for that specific thing. And I think that's a much better world in our world. Okay. If you've got any questions on any of this, drop it in the WhatsApp group so that I can answer it for everybody. And there's no such thing as a stupid question, right? Because if you're thinking it, there's a very good chance that somebody else is, and they're not asking it because they don't want to look stupid either. But there's no stupid questions. So use that WhatsApp group to ask any questions, and I look forward to seeing most of you next Monday. George, did I tell you that we're doing a conference in Scotland next year?
You did mention it, yes.
I'll send you the link. I think it's the 24th or the 25th of March. So it's on a Monday in March in Nairn, which is near Inverness. So it's on the train. It's on the train line ish.
I say flights are really cheap too, aren't they?
Well, it depends on where you live, Liz.
I think £35 from Bristol.
Yeah, it's like £100 each way from Manchester, so I'm going to drive up. Yeah, so I'm looking forward to a nice road trip. So
I get to go on a long train ride, even better.
Yeah, the only thing with trains is I just find that they're really expensive and they get cancelled.
You don't have to drive; you don't get tired.
Well, I enjoy it. So I'm retracing some of my youth because I'm going to go back up through Pitlochry and Aviemore. I've never been to Loch Ness, so I'm quite looking forward to that. Anyway, I want you to type out, however you want to do it, your sales and networking plan. Your vision in there, your ideal client, who your referral partners are, what you're going to do. It's an action plan. And have printed copy so that if I bump into your networking and I'll say, where's your plan? You go up to you. Not like, oh, it's on a file somewhere. Let me, where did I put it? What did I call it? You know, which is what happens to most plan. This is a doing plan, and you can scribble on it and you can go, all right, I spoke to Helen today and her son's just passed driving test, or he's working in a butcher's doing an apprenticeship. So the next time that I drive up through there, I can put my order in so that Helen's got some nice T-bone steaks or something like that. It's knowing people, right? And that's by writing it down, you're going to learn it. You're going to remember it, and it's going to help you get what you want. Has this been useful for everyone?
Of course, yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Can I have a favor? Could you write a post on LinkedIn about what you've got from this and tag me in it? That would be huge. And then take that and use it as the basis for a LinkedIn recommendation for me. That's my ask. Don't ask for things very often, but that's what I would like. And if you don't ask, you don't get, do you?
You don't.
Exactly.
Going back to what Lisa said at the very start, we all have that feeling of, I can't ask them because can't do that. So there was someone that I follow, a guy called Keith Ferrazzi. Just come across him. I've been aware of him, but he wrote a book called Never Eat Alone, and I heard him on something, and I was like, well, he sounds like quite an interesting guy. I don't think I could send him a LinkedIn connection request, though, because he's not going to accept that. And I went through this thing, like, it feels like a lifetime in our heads, and it was like a minute, maybe. Anyway, I sent him a connection request on LinkedIn, no message. He accepted within 20 minutes. How often do we procrastinate over things like that? I'll never meet the guy. And I procrastinated over sending him a LinkedIn connection request. So that we've all got stuff like that. But I would encourage you to read a book called Go for No, if you've not read it. It's a nice, simple book. And here's the thing. You might want to buy a copy and read it and then give it to somebody else. So it's a nice way to pay it forward and then get them to pass it on and start a chain of something like that. I'm like, I do give a lot of books away, and I've got loads of books out in circulation that I know are never going to come back to me. You know, when you lend somebody a book and you think, I'm never going to see that again. But maybe you start that and you write something in and go, this is a good book. I'd love you to pass it on to somebody else once you finish reading it. And you put your name in it and maybe your phone number or something like that, and start a chain of making a difference for people. How cool would that be?
This is what I came into work to today. a lady I worked with a while back, and she dropped me a message at the weekend with something she was probably having a bit of hoo-ha with. Just voice messaged her back, and that's what was on the floor this morning as I came into work.
Nice. Nice.
Yeah.
It's nice to be nice. Go and do good things for other people. It will come back to you. Right. Thank you very much, everybody. I'm going to stop recording. I've enjoyed this.